quickly dive into the Dubai World Cup, and I say quickly simply because we don't have as many things available to us. There are no sort of charts in the racing form, so graphically I can't show you that. We will show you the PPs, though, of the winner of the Dubai World Cup, and we can take a brief look at the field. Again, bit of an international flavor, but the Americans are always well represented. Whether it was a horse like Seeking the Soul, whether it was Gunnevera, whether it was Yoshida, who's a little bit of an international flair himself, just based on his pedigree. You had Pavel, who went over there, and Pavel, look, outside of Southern California, usually he does his best work, so perhaps this would be an uptick. But you did have the reigning and defending champion of the Dubai World Cup in Thunder Snow. He most recently was seen in a prep race. That was the Al Maktoum Challenge. I believe it was round 3. Definitely needed the race based on the way that he ran that day, flattened out at the end. You had many of the sort of usual standbys out there in Dubai as far as the early rounds of the Al Maktoum Challenge are concerned, whether it was North America, Capizano, you name it. All of them were there, and ultimately we got a great stretch run from the reigning champ and a horse that we are familiar with here in the United States whose form recently looked god-awful. Here's the stretch run of this year's Dubai World Cup.
Followed by Capizano, but Gronkowski went to the lead. Thunder Snow out in the middle. North America down on the fence. Pavel from a long way back. Gronkowski the front runner, 250 metres to go. Thunder Snow on the outside, levelling up. Down the outside, Gunnevera and Pavel. Thunder Snow going after Gronkowski. Thunder Snow reaches the front. Gronkowski fights hard. Thunder Snow, Gronkowski. Thunder Snow on the outside. Nose in front. It's double Thunder. Dumbuwa Thunder with Thunder Snow getting it.
Thunder Snow gets the job done by this much over Gronkowski. And I suppose we should start with Thunder Snow. Let's give him the credit that he is due. We'll take a look at his horse card. He's 8 of 23 lifetime. He's over $16 million in career earnings. He's owned by Godolphin LLC, trained by Saeed Ben Sarur. You take a look at the breeding. He is bred by Darley in Ireland. Ridden to victory by Christophe Soumillon, and the pedigree at the bottom of the horse card. Again, a little bit of an international flair. He is by Helmet, who is an Australian sire, out of a Dubai destination mare named Eastern Joy, who is from Great Britain. I haven't seen any of the numbers just yet, but the reason I tweeted, I had someone send me a tweet after the race saying, you know, maybe you haven't given Gronkowski his due. And I quoted it in coming back and saying that that's going to be, to me, the most difficult thing to analyze about this year's Dubai World Cup. I think Thunder Snow, for a long time, I've thought this. I think he's a good horse. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves here in the United States. And I don't think it has anything to do with that bucking bronco performance in the Kentucky Derby a few years ago. I just don't think he gets the due sort of... I don't think he gets his due. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. He's a really nice horse. Is he ever going to go down as one of the all-time greats? No, but he's a dual World Cup winner. He won the UAE Derby. He's come over to the United States and run well in some of our bigger races. I just think he's a really nice horse. He's a Grade 1 winner or Group 1 winner on dirt and turf. You know, again, that's nothing to sneeze at. This is a really talented horse. Now, why is this race difficult to analyze going forward? Gronkowski. You know, where did that kind of race come from? I had spoke to some folks up here in New England. They were gone down to Mohegan Sun for the weekend, and I said the only reason that I not the only reason, I can't really recommend Gronkowski based on his recent form, and the only time he had been remotely close to the pace was in the Discovery last year as a 3-year-old, and that day they were just absolutely walking out there. So the fact that he was as close as he was leads me to believe that it was a very soft pace, and you could see that by some of those incremental splits. You could also see that by Capizano, who was basically in the pocket in behind North America, throwing his head about, hating life. His race was lost when he didn't make out to the front. But when Gronkowski is up as close as he is, then you kind of feel like he's going to stay the distance. That's not a question for anyone. Boy, he put in a big bid. This was a big effort from him. But again, now it's difficult to go forward and say, all right, what did we actually see here? Because is that what Gronkowski is? I mean, one of his better races. We saw in the Belmont Stakes last year. I mean, he can fire a shot every once in a while. But he's not the most consistent, or he hasn't been thus far in his career. So I don't know what you want to do with that. I do love the fact that Thunder Snow went and got him. And sure, he was all out, and it may not have been... You know, usually I think when we think of these big stars, they have these flashy, brilliant performances. And Thunder Snow doesn't really fit that bill. Last year he was criticized because he took advantage of a very speed-friendly track at Meydan that night. Fair, totally fair. But I like that he's got the tenacity to go and get a horse in front of him. I also love that Saeed Ben Surur, who was interviewed after the race was over, he said from here on they will go to the United States. He won't go up to Europe. When that will be, who knows, but he had mentioned New York, and he had specifically mentioned Saratoga. You would imagine, and this is me just spitballing here. There's nothing that I've read, nothing that I've heard. I would imagine you'd be looking at a campaign along the lines of the Whitney, maybe back to the Jockey Club Gold Cup, where I thought he ran very well last year, and then the Breeders' Cup Classic out at Santa Anita to wrap things up. I think he's a really nice horse, and I hope he continues to run well. I hope he comes over here and acquits himself nicely. As far as the rest of the field is concerned, Gunnevera, another honest effort. The horse just tries. He's a cool horse. He's hard not to root for. The difficult thing from a gambling standpoint, we talk about these one-run closers. You're at the mercy of pace and trip. He needs a pace meltdown for him to have any real chance of getting the job done on the win end. He's still going to come with his bid, but he's going to need some serious heat in front of him. He didn't seem to get that. That's why he was as far back as he was, but he came, put in a nice bid. A fair effort from Pavel, a little bit late with the lead change, but I thought that was good all around. Yoshida was definitely, I think, the disappointment as far as the United States contingent is concerned. I know Seeking the Soul didn't really do tremendous, but Yoshida, to me, he was sluggish out of the gate, and he never really seemed that comfortable. And I know Bill Mott has said in the past that he believes he might be a better dirt horse. I'm not ready to give up on him as a turf horse. I've always thought that he was better at those sort of mile and an eighth distances on grass. And sure, he is a Grade 1 winner on dirt, and he's run well on dirt in the past. But I would go back to the grass with him, but he's not my horse. And Bill Mott knows a hell of a lot more, again, about horses than I ever will. So I would just like to see him back on grass. We'll see what they end up doing with him going forward. As far as the rest of the field is concerned, a lot of the international horses, right now at face value, there's really no major need for me to go over them because I don't believe any of them are coming here to the States to run in anytime soon. So we'll button things up with that. It's another tremendous performance and another... Again, for a horse that has earned over $16 million, I still feel like Thunder Snow doesn't get the credit that he deserves. I think he's a talented horse. Have thought he's a talented horse from day one. Thunder Snow, a two-time defending champion of the Dubai World Cup. He gets it done again here in 2019.